This week, a hot new bombshell.
After bombshell after bombshell.
Bombshell.
A lot of stories were
revelation.
tracking, including an absolute bombshell.
About a bombshell.
There was a major new bombshell.
Unbelievable.
Bombshell conversation.
Reality Bombshell.
Hello and welcome to Reality Bombshell, the comedy podcast that investigates the not true crimes of your guiltiest pleasures and examines reality TV through a true crime lens. I'm Ben, my pronouns are he, him.
I'm Kelson, my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Ariel, my pronouns are she, her.
We're three friends who all like true crime. One of us is a reality TV obsessive, but that's not me.
'Tis not me.
It's me. Hi.
I hope the cheeky smile that you have really comes across in the audio.
It should.
Yeah.
I hope so. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm actually so excited to talk about this hot new bombshell that I have for you today.
Okay.
We are
I was
too.
gonna say, you know
I'm
that
excited. Excited.
Yeah.
But this is one of my all-time favorite franchises.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Any guesses?
I think it's New York.
New Jersey.
New Jersey is not.
Oh.
Embarrassing.
But it is New York. Yeah, New York.
Okay.
Top,
New York, okay.
top 3 favorite Bravo shows of all time.
Reality Bombshell.
Let me take you back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The year is 2013.
Ooh.
What a good year for pop culture, y'all.
Yeah,
I
hit
didn't
me with
even
it.
realize how amazing this year was until I started looking into it.
Let's go.
All right, songs. Let's start here. Wrecking Ball,
Oh.
Amazing.
Get Lucky,
Okay.
Blurred Lines,
Ugh.
The Harlem Shake,
Wow.
Oh
Do you
my
remember
God.
the Harlem
Of course
Shake?
I
remember the
do.
Harlem
Yeah.
Shake.
Miley at the VMAs, obviously,
Oh
with
my
Robin
God.
Thicke.
Yeah.
Cultural appropriation.
Absolutely. And also just like her breaking out of her Disney
Yeah.
dumb.
Sure.
Beyonce dropped her self-titled album
Whoa.
as a surprise.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yep. Jennifer Lawrence fell at the Oscars.
I do remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to get sad, but Paul Walker and Corey Monteith both died in
Oh my
2013.
God.
May they
And
rest
that
in
was the
peace.
start of the Glee curse.
It absolutely was.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was coming.
No, we
Yeah.
really didn't.
Sharknado.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
Because, and you know how I remembered that is because this is so bad. Corey Monteith's last tweet was about Sharknado. So
Was it a good review or
It was like, what is a shark tornado? A sharknado or something like that. It was something
Okay.
absolutely ridiculous. If I die, when I die,
Immortal. You're immortal. so
I
it's
need
fine.
somebody to go in and tweet
Oh, I
something
will.
like remotely,
Yes.
like just a little bit like insightful before I die,
Sure.
so that or after I've died, so that it's
Yeah.
like my last tweet isn't about like a sharknado.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying?
disagree.
Yeah.
I want my last tweet to be just insane.
We'll tweet Sharknado for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and we're all saying this as if we're on Twitter.
Not a
Yeah,
single
right,
one of us is on
absolutely.
Twitter.
I need my Instagram post to
There it
be
is.
unhinged.
Just completely unhinged.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
this about something so mundane that it's funny.
Yeah, like a sharknado.
Yeah.
We are each in charge of finding the obituary photo for each other, though.
Oh, absolutely.
To make sure it's a good one.
That's
Yeah,
so
100%.
Don't really trust many other people.
Yeah.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
honored you trust us.
Oh, I feel like that's...
I feel like we
Yeah.
actually have a shockingly large like gallery to choose from with Ben these days.
Oh,
I
in the
don't
past
understand.
6 months.
I do not comprehend that.
Yeah.
Because
Any of the photos from the photo shoot that we just posted to introduce ourselves on the Instagram account, you can go follow us at Reality Bombshell. But like I was taking the photos, I was like, okay,
Who are you?
Ben, model.
Like for the uninitiated, I'm so sorry, Ben. Ben like in high school was not the Ben he is now. Ben.
Okay, none of us were. Let's not
No,
just put that on Ben.
correct.
I
Thank you.
certainly was
Thank
not.
you.
No, me neither. But Ben's glow up was like,
Yeah, great.
yeah,
It's LASIK.
LASIK, confidence,
companies reach
going
out.
to the gym.
Fashion.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
I used to take Ben shopping in high school.
Yeah, I feel like my glow up didn't really happen until like 2022.
I'm
Like
still waiting.
I think I had like slow glow. That's not true. I think I had like slow glow ups, but like once I found my fashion sense,
Totally.
I feel like that's really
There's some photos I have
Yeah.
of you from like 2020. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know
literally.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
well. It's because before when I still worked at like Starbucks, I
Yeah.
couldn't justify buying clothes that I couldn't wear
Fair.
to work because they had a pretty lax dress code. But like I
Still
wasn't making
within-
that much money. I wasn't
Yeah.
buying clothes for fashion reasons.
Certainly not
And
to
then-
wear when you're going to get covered in
Right,
mocha
Exactly.
syrup.
exactly.
Yeah. So like a graphic T-shirt or shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
But then once I started working at CVS, just putting my resume out there right now. Once I started working at CVS, I was wearing scrubs all the time. And I was
Right.
like, oh, now when I buy clothes, they're just for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And like that was like a game changer, honestly.
Totally.
So
Anyway.
Great.
sorry. What movies?
Frozen.
Oh, wow.
Absolute banger.
Yeah.
of a
Do you
movie.
remember how many times we watched Frozen in high school?
Oh my
A
god!
lot.
Do you remember recording? Do you want to build a snowman on either side of a door?
I do remember
When
this.
we were filming for our film fest.
Oh
short
my
film,
god.
And we had one of our friends on one side of the door,
Yeah.
and I was on the other, and I was like knocking.
Yeah.
and, yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh my
and it's
God.
somewhere on
Embarrassment.
Facebook. It exists
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah. Good.
Vine was at its peak.
Oh,
I was never on Vine.
I wasn't on Vine until about 2017.
I wasn't on Vine, but Vine compilation YouTube videos.
Right.
Yes.
So
Oh.
when I say I wasn't on Vine until 2017, Vine
Yeah.
did not exist in 2017.
Yeah.
I discovered Vine in 2017,
Yeah.
Got it.
however.
So,
Yes.
what are some of your guys' favorite Vines off the top of your head?
Look at all these chickens.
Oh, that's a good one.
Epcot Ball.
Epcot Ball. We referenced this earlier, but I really like the one where the guy's like, my main goal is to blow up, then act like I don't know nobody. I think about that all the time.
Alright, the one with is it Ronald McDonald sitting on a table? It's like, let's make freaking lose it. Get out of your mind.
I miss
Have
all
you-
of this culture. Wow.
Oh, we're next time we hang out, we gotta just put on Vine
after we
compilation.
finish recording.
Yeah.
Yes,
Vine compilation.
immediately.
Back at it again at the Krispy Kreme, and then he does the backflips and knocks the sign. You guys haven't? Oh my
No.
god!
What does the fox say?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I know. That's what I'm saying. 2013 is a
Such
treasure
a
trove.
moment.
Flappy Bird was
Oh my
2013.
Wow.
I was never good at that game.
I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
Edward Snowden happened
Wow.
in 2013.
Yeah.
The Boston Marathon bombing happened in
Whoa.
2013.
Yeah. That was scary because my uncle runs a bunch of marathons and stuff, and he and his family were like at the Boston Marathon.
Whoa.
Um,
that's terrifying.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just the bombing too. It was the
It was like
subsequent,
the full. It was like
Yeah.
5 days.
the
Yeah, it was a whole
man
thing.
chase or whatever. Yeah. Pope Benedict the 16th resigned, which is the first pope to step down in
Right.
600 years.
Mhm. Good for him.
And twerking.
Twerking.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah. It hit the white people.
Yes,
It hit the
it
white-
did not-
just
it was
to
not
clarify,
invented.
Yeah. It hit the white
It hit the
Miley
white people.
Cyrus
Yes.
brought it to
Yes,
The
the
white
white
true.
people.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All roads lead back to Miley Cyrus. All white pop culture roads lead back to Miley Cyrus.
They do.
Most of them.
Well, a lot of them.
I
Yeah,
think so.
It's
sure.
the climb, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
They played that song on repeat at CVS. And
in
in the store,
but in the year 2018.
in 2020 when I was working there.
That's crazy.
It was one of the 8 songs or whatever that they had on the repeat
Amazing.
list. And let me tell you, it's a good song, but it's not the
that
kind of
good.
song you want
No.
to hear that frequently.
It's like faith-based adjacent.
Yeah.
yeah.
But what's crazy about that though is I feel like a lot of retail stores put more upbeat songs on.
Right.
That's
that
the thing. Yeah, it's really
contradicts
not.
that,
I
too.
think they probably put it on because they didn't want too much upbeat.
Sure.
I understand.
You know,
They want you
but-
to still move slowly.
Yeah, take your
Peruse.
time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cruise the ibuprofen aisle.
Yeah, back in the day when you could just pick things up and they weren't all in cases.
Ooh,
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real problem these days.
I'm buying so much less stuff because before when I was at CVS and
So
I
it's
had to
working in
wait
your
for my
favor.
meds or something, I would I'd pick up a makeup thing and look at that and be like, oh, I'll try this
Oh, crap, I need
eyeliner.
this,
Oh, I'll try
yeah.
this blush. And now that I can't pick up anything and look at it,
Right.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to call someone over to open this
Yeah,
case so I
that's
can
just
look at
embarrassing.
this.
Especially with makeup.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
totally.
barely want to call someone over to get body wash.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I
even
know,
though it's the same one
ridiculous.
I've been buying for years.
Right.
It's like, every time I have to call somebody over to one of those cases, I'm like, I need to be the fastest person
Correct.
in
Well,
the
and then
world.
a lot of times, and this is not an indictment of retail workers, but it takes 4 or 5
Right.
Well,
ever.
yeah, because they're really
doing
understaffed.
1,001 things. So it's
Right.
like, what is the point? By the time
Yeah.
you even get there, I don't want it anymore.
I think there's been studies that have shown that places that do that have a decrease in sales because people are so turned
Probably,
off.
they're
by
probably
it.
losing more sales than they were losing in theft.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
What do you
100%.
Anyway, that's my
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
So meanwhile,
in 2013.
in 2013, in reality TV, The Real Housewives of New York City is in its 6th season.
Okay.
So we're jumping
Well
ahead a little
established.
bit.
Yeah.
However, the 2 main characters we're going to be talking about today are in their 2nd season.
Got it.
Okay.
How often do cast members
Turn
churn? Yeah.
Fairly frequently.
Wow,
I mean,
okay.
it depends on the show. So, Potomac had the same cast of characters for 5 seasons.
Well, I can't imagine there's that many people in
No.
Potomac who wanted to do the show because you're
Fair.
saying it's kind of like a
Yeah.
insulated.
New York, there's usually a couple staples that stick around for a while. Salt Lake is still the same core cast of characters, obviously without Jen Shaw. 'Cause
Sure.
She's in prison.
R.I.P.
And I will remind you that every single time I bring her up.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, it ebbs and flows, obviously. They're always
Sure.
going to keep bringing in new people. And a lot of times those people only last one season. It's not, you know. But let's meet our suspects, our people of interest. Oh, that's a cast photo.
I like that this cast photo, they're all kind of coordinated with their outfits. I feel like sometimes the outfits clash a little bit more in the cast photos. This looks like a very, like...
New York is chic.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
It's a good...
This may just me being a white man. They all look the same to me.
Oh,
yeah,
they do.
I think it's because they're mostly blondes.
I like the set, too. This
Yeah,
like, kind of like this, like,
lofty,
rich teal,
totally
green fabric. Yeah, I like this a lot more than the women sitting on the ski lift.
I agree with you. But again, that's drag. This is high class. So
exactly.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, Aviva Drescher, 43, Jewish. I just have to... We're in New York.
Yeah.
Born and raised in New York City, she was the only child of a wealthy family. Something that does come up in New York a lot is their careers. Their careers are really important to the women, whereas like in other cities, it's not necessarily as much of the case.
Sure.
So at 6 years old, Aviva lost her leg in a farm accident.
Oh my god. We talk about legs
so much
and
on this
it's not
podcast.
intentional, and it probably will stop after this one. Maybe we'll see.
I'm not optimistic. They'll just keep coming back.
Yeah,
or leaving.
Or yes. So she has a prosthetic leg. She graduated from Vassar College. She will remind you of that.
Where is that?
Poughkeepsie. She earned a law degree, but she never actually practiced because she got married and became a New York City Upper East Side housewife.
Sure.
She built that image. So she's very philanthropic. I believe she's multilingual, very polished. She married an investment banker named Harry Dubin. They had a son named Harrison, and then they got divorced. This is not relevant, but important. Harry Dubin goes on to date at least 2 other of the New York City housewives.
Whoa.
Messy.
In this particular season.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Love it.
At least 2, if not 3. She then married this guy named Reed Drescher, who's a Wall Street financier. I don't fucking know.
I don't know what that means.
They had 2 more kids.
Is she related to Fran Drescher at all?
I don't believe so.
Dang.
Common last name.
Sure.
Yeah. They are a Manhattan power couple on the surface. But behind the scenes, Aviva has anxiety. She has a fair amount of chronic health issues, which we will get into. She's very intelligent and poised, but when she's like obsessive over having control, but when she's pushed, it tends to like kind of get a little out there, and she really folds under criticism. Aviva Drescher is why I will never be a housewife, because
I was gonna say I'm sensing some similarities. I didn't want to be the first one to say
it. Would not end well for me.
Oh yeah.
Next, we have Carole Radziwill. She was born into a blue-collar Italian-American family in upstate New York. She studied journalism at Hunter College before joining ABC News, where she produced war zone and political coverage under Peter Jennings.
Wow.
She won multiple Emmys for her reporting. And while she was working at ABC, she met Anthony Radziwill, who was a Polish prince and Jackie Kennedy's nephew.
Wow.
So Jackie Kennedy's sister, Lee Radziwill, is Carole's mother-in-law.
That's wild.
Which
8 degrees of separation, but sure.
not really. So that actually makes her a princess.
Oh my god.
So she officially became a Kennedy. Her best friends were John F. Kennedy Jr. and his wife Carolyn Bessette Kennedy.
Well,
she's like royalty and like American royalty.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah. Her husband Anthony was diagnosed with cancer in the 90s. She cared for him until he passed in the summer of 1999, which was 6 weeks after their best friends, Carolyn Bessette and John JFK Jr., passed away in a plane accident.
Oh, God.
So she lost her 2 best friends and then her husband in the span of 2 months.
Oh, my God.
Which led to her writing the book What Remains, which is a New York Times best-selling memoir that she wrote about her grief process. I adore Carole.
wow. We gotta do a book club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Housewives book club.
Oh yeah, and that might be like one of the only good ones on there. She's very like cool and independent and intellectual, but sometimes she can come off like a little too cool for school. Allegedly, there's a rumor, she was the inspiration for Carrie Bradshaw.
Wow.
So, because
Oh, I want to be her friend.
Even for that to be a rumor is like...
that, yeah, even if
Yeah.
that's not true.
because
that's
the
crazy.
author of Sex and the City is
Yeah.
friends with all these women. She's
Gotcha.
been on the show
Gotcha.
before. Yeah. So,
Oh my god.
insane. Wow. All right. So, at the end of season 5, not the season we're talking about, the season prior,
Yeah.
Carole had a book party for her new novel coming out called The Widow's Guide to Sex and Dating, which, in my opinion, was a bit of a flop. Where Aviva got into a screaming match with another housewife. So when we start season 6, Carole is keeping her distance, and actually most of the women are kind of keeping their distance from Aviva. She's a bit of a
Loose cannon.
Yeah. thank
Okay,
you.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, this is a podcast, so we do need to use that word.
Yeah, absolutely. But however, at the beginning of season 5, when Carole and Aviva met, Aviva was like starstruck by Carole because she adored her book so much. So she goes from like being like super obsessed with Carole to them kind of being like a little distant from each other. So in the season 6 premiere, Aviva tells Carole she's writing a memoir of her own. She invites Carole to lunch to get writing advice, and Carole, being nice, agrees. So,
And so her memoir is called Leggy Blonde.
Leggy Blonde, because she
I actually love that.
Have
only
you
has
read
one
it?
leg. No.
Wow.
I actually have not read, I've only read, I believe, one housewife book, and it's Heather Gay, and she's from Salt Lake.
Gotcha.
Because it spilled tea about Mormonism, and
Okay,
Yeah.
I
fair.
had to read that. So they go to lunch, and it's uncomfortable.
She looks like Gwyneth Paltrow.
A little
Right
bit.
here.
Yeah, I see that.
It might just be like the angle, though.
Aviva shows up wearing glasses almost identical to Carole's after previously asking her where she got them. And makes a joke about like single white femaling her.
Ooh.
The conversation now turns to their books. Aviva's trying to like prove herself while Carole is kind of one-upping her a little bit. And this leads to, well, we'll watch. Something I will say about this episode, the clips are going to be longer.
Okay.
I'm talking a couple minute long.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I cut them down as much as I could, but
Yeah.
just bear
Cool.
with me here.
Mhm.
All right.
How does it work? Did you talk into a type recorder?
No,
or
I wrote.
did you-
I just wrote.
and did you end up hiring a writer?
I didn't.
Oh.
I just
So
know.
no one's ghosting it?
No, I just wrote. It was kind of like emailing. You know, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
I thought you were going to hire someone.
No. It's, you know what? You remember I showed you the essay that I had written for Chicken Soup for the Soul?
Yeah, but that's not a book. That was a letter to your mother.
Was your first book What Remains?
I mean, I was a journalist for 15 years before that, so I wrote a
You
lot.
wrote a lot
but
of
not-
essays. Right. Yeah. Did
Wow.
you ghost your books?
You kidding me? No, I mean, but I'm a writer. I don't know.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you're not right. But even though What Remains was your first book, you did it yourself, right?
Yes,
Was
I
it
did it
scary?
myself.
Was it
I'm a
scary?
writer. That's what I do. That's what I've done for 20 years. I thought you knew that. I'm not understanding Aviva's agenda here. Is she insinuating that I hired a ghostwriter to write my first book? That is awful and awkward and bizarre.
So Aviva insinuating that Carole used a ghostwriter to write her very passionate and awfully
Yeah.
sad memoir about losing everybody in her life at the
Yeah.
same time. Not a great look.
It does look to me like Aviva was kind of to Carole first being like, oh, you're not using a ghostwriter? Like, did it like first?
Carole to
Carole to
Aviva was
Aviva.
asking, you're not using a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's, I mean, yes. So
Yeah.
do you want my opinion?
No.
Of course. So I think Aviva wanted to prove herself to Carole,
Mhm.
and Carole felt like kind of threatened a little bit.
Mhm.
But it's also not like bizarre for Aviva to have used a ghostwriter for
Right.
Yeah.
as a housewife writing a
It's
memoir.
not bizarre for
Anyone
any,
to use a
any
ghostwriter.
celebrity to use a
Absolutely.
But
But I
Yeah.
think Carole took it
Personally.
personally.
Right.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
And also she's kind of like, you know when someone's annoying you and then everything they do just like bothers
All
you?
the time. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, sitting here.
I know. I was gonna say every time I hang out with Ben.
Ouch.
Kidding.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
so kidding.
Meanwhile, Ben literally opened his home for
to
us.
I know he feeds
shared
me.
shared
He, like,
his
yeah.
dream of this podcast with us. Like, trust us, took out the photo for his obituary.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I guess I will find new friends.
Oh no, don't go. So uncomfortable.
Mhm.
They both leave this lunch, And the a staple in the Housewives universe commences, which is the housewife gossip machine. So we now have rumors spreading fast. We have Aviva telling one woman about what happened, and we have Carole telling 2 other women about what happened.
So these are our witnesses then.
These are our witnesses, absolutely.
You ever have that experience where you're having lunch with a friend and you kind of feel like you're being insulted? But
Oh, no.
I think
What did you have lunch with?
Aviva. We were talking about books and I was sharing my experiences of writing, but then suddenly I was having to defend my 20-year writing career to Aviva Drescher. In the 2 years I've known her, she never expressed any desire or interest in writing or having a writing career. She's asking me to buy into this delusion that she is a writer and she's written this book in a hot minute. Doesn't make sense. She said, well, you didn't write a book before you wrote your first memoir. She asked me if I hired a ghostwriter.
She asked you if you hired a ghostwriter?
Yes.
She's written one book, and I was just sort of looking to her for some guidance, some support.
Mentoring.
And I just felt completely one-upped and put down. Out of the gates, she was like, oh, so you have a ghostwriter, right? She said to me, I figured it was your first book, your first memoir. And I said, well, when you had your first memoir, which was 1 book ago, did you have a ghostwriter? Literally, she goes, no, I'm a writer. She had this sort of attitude like, I'm the writer, and she was just so condescending. You know, Carole shopped her novel at my publishing house, and they passed.
Really? Why'd they pass?
They said that what she handed in needed to be overhauled.
Really?
Overhauled. And then it needed at least 8 months to have it completely reworked.
Wow.
And I heard from my publishing house that Carole had her first book ghostwritten by, I think it's Bill Whitworth.
Why would Aviva say something to me about Carole and a ghostwriter that is kind of negative and it is kind of gossipy, and why is she trying to start up again with this?
So I was just really surprised when I sat there with Carole, having heard that she had used a ghostwriter, and out the gates, she says to me, did you use a ghostwriter?
Wow.
It's just bitchy.
Whoever she's talking to does not look comfortable with this conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, Ramona's insane. I don't have time to get into Ramona.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into her. She was on Housewives from day 1, season 1, all the way through till they rebooted RHONY and got rid of everybody and brought in a new group of people that suck. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay, yeah. So, rumor mill. Now we're just kind of
saying shit,
churning.
So, apparently, Aviva's publishing house.
Yes.
Turned down this book, but then the book was still like a New York Times bestseller.
Her second book.
Her second book was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't believe was a New York Times bestseller.
Gotcha.
Which, like, that's not information Aviva would have
probably not
known or come to easily. That's
yeah. She was either snooping or making it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Carole says there was a bidding war, so it's not like it was.
It's also from my understanding with books is you can get turned down by one publishing company and another one loves it or whatever.
Right.
Like how
totally
many times have you
subjective.
heard like so and so author got turned down 8 times before they were accepted
Right, that
or whatever?
doesn't mean that your book isn't good. It just means that they don't.
It just wasn't the right
Right.
partnership.
Yeah, right. Totally. I do think it's one thing for Aviva to say that she heard it was ghostwritten. It's another thing to like start throwing out this publisher stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's messy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like if she had this information, like, especially with Housewives being, I feel like, as confrontational as it is, like, I don't know why she wouldn't have during the lunch been like, well, I heard from this publishing house that, like, you did, like, I don't know why she wouldn't have, like, pulled out that card.
I think she snooped or made stuff up after that lunch.
What a great segue, Kelsey. So, next, we're at a party. Where Carole says, say it to my fucking face. Like, you're going to be talking about me. Say it to me. She calls Aviva deranged. She says to her, there is no competition here. Don't compare your book deal to my career. It's like apples and spaceships.
Whoa.
I mean, like she has been a journalist for 20 years, and it's
Right.
not.
Yeah,
That's
won
not
Emmys for it.
literally
Yeah.
like that. To me, that isn't even trying to belittle Aviva. That's just a fact.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Like-
right. No. Absolutely. However, Aviva does feel belittled.
Well, that's on her.
And she says that the word on the street is that Carole had a ghostwriter.
The word on the street is her. Like she's the
She
word.
is the
Just
word.
her,
She's like,
yes.
a little birdie told me, and she's like there with wings.
Right.
Like,
Carole literally says, like, who says that anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Giselle Bryant.
I was gonna say, yeah, she's the word on the street.
She's the word on the street. So a
Yeah.
screaming match ensues, and Carole calls Aviva phony. And also...
phony on RHONY.
Cute.
You've written one book. What do you think? You're John Grisham? What do you think? You're Stephen King?
Who do you think you
I'm
are?
a girl trying to write a book.
No, you're a
and you've
liar
been-
and a phony.
And
you are
a
such
phony,
don't talk about Bill
phony.
Willard.
You're up here. You're up here.
Okay,
and I'm down here.
Okay,
You
you're a liar.
You were unsupported.
You are lying. You lie about everything.
You know what?
No one believes the words
You know
you're
what?
saying, even
Really?
your publisher.
Really? It's funny because my
No,
publisher
but
told me
your
all about your book.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, now...
I'm just a girl trying to write a book.
I know, I love that.
I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl.
Standing in front of a guy trying
Yeah,
to
trying to write a book.
Carole also does, however, in this scene, mock Aviva or make a comment about Aviva having never worked outside the home
Mm-hmm.
because Aviva did immediately
Yeah.
graduate from law school
And then-
and become a
yeah.
stay-at-home mom.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not an easy job.
Yeah, no, for
Totally.
sure. Very
she does
unpaid
also
labor.
have a law degree.
Right, like,
Yeah.
Like, not
yeah,
an easy
Aviva's,
thing to
yeah,
get.
Aviva's
Right,
not
totally.
stupid.
She's not
or
stupid
anything.
at
Yeah,
all. No,
yeah.
she's just and a ball of anxiety.
Mhm.
So now they're just not friends anymore. And Carole's friends are constantly defending her, and Aviva is like slowly isolating herself from the group because she's also, in addition to have pissed off Carole, she's pissing off everybody else.
Yeah.
With like little things that she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about cast trips. Every year, every season, the cast goes on at least one trip as a group.
And I assume this is where a lot of the crimes take place. Is on
A
these
good
cast
amount of
trips.
crimes certainly take place on cast trips.
Yeah.
In RHONY, it's kind of fun because they're constantly moving around. Like, a bunch of them have houses in the Hamptons. So they there's a lot of stuff that happens in the Hamptons. One woman has a house in the Berkshires. So they go to Bluestone Manor and have
I love the Berkshires.
I know you're going to love
So
Dorinda.
pretty.
And they have like stuff that happens in the Berkshires. And then they also will go on a cast trip.
That's
So
fun.
This year, the gloop.
The gloop. Shout out Gwyneth Paltrow again.
And she better be paying us for this,
Yeah,
for this free
Gwyneth
promotion.
Paltrow, reach out to us for compensation.
At Reality Bombshell.
Yeah, at
thank you so
Reality
much.
Bombshell.
So the group plans a trip to a dude ranch in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
But Aviva suddenly develops concerns. I'll let her share.
My problem with Montana is that about a month ago, I couldn't breathe. And I went for every test. I went to get my heart tested, I went and got a CAT scan, and then I was sent to a pulmonologist. And he said, actually, you have moderate to severe asthma.
That is serious.
The other problem is that the altitude, and I'm allergic to horses, will 100% set me back.
You're a mess.
Now, I'm a mess. Now, the long story short, I said, I'm planning to go to Montana. And he said, today, the way your tests are reading, I cannot release you to go to Montana.
I'm sorry. Didn't she grow up on a horse farm?
No. She was on a farm when something happened. Her foot got stuck in like a conveyor belt kind of a situation, and she couldn't get in. And,
Got it.
So no, she did not grow up on a horse farm.
That's so funny to me because with my understanding of asthma as a pharmacy technician,
yes,
basically all you can really do is like prescribe an inhaler,
Right.
like some like steroids or something.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be any reason why the doctor couldn't have
prepared,
just prescribed those and been
Sure.
like,
yeah,
take this one every day, take this one as needed. And obviously you might have to switch brands or something like that. But asthma isn't normally the kind of thing where you're like
I can't
barred from going places.
I will say,
Yeah.
in defense of Aviva, as a person who has moderate to severe asthma, who did not discover it until adulthood, and who also lived in a high altitude location for 3 years, I did have to every year go get a steroid shot because my asthma got like so out of control.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks, not even a week, in a high altitude place.
Is Montana that high altitude?
I don't think it's higher than Colorado.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any. Well, I mean, obviously places are higher than Colorado, but
yes,
like
not in America necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about all that.
And also, take your inhaler.
Yeah.
Feels like Aviva exaggerates most things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that okay, well, if you're 6 years old and you lose your leg, I think it is valid that you would have a form of hypochondria.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But yes.
And it's also, like... So did she just learn that she's allergic to horses?
Apparently.
Because it makes it seem like she didn't know that until she talked to this pulmonologist.
And then was like, I'm going to Montana. What can you tell me about my allergies to horses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she's allergic to horses, that would have been a problem on its own outside of the asthma.
Yeah.
So wouldn't she already have been like, well, I can't go because
Right.
I'm allergic to horses?
Yeah. One would
Yeah.
assume you're trying to apply logic to a person that is not applying logic to this
So true. I'm trying to dissect this through a true crime lens and poke holes in all of their alibis.
Absolutely. And you have poked many a hole. So suddenly she's developed asthma and horse allergies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's not true.
Those things can be completely true. I don't believe that a doctor was like, I can't release
You're not
you
allowed
to go to Montana.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's right.
So safe to say the women aren't buying it.
Yeah.
So here we are now shopping for clothes for a Dude Ranch trip when one of the women named Kristen calls out Aviva. Again, we're here for a longer clip.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've had all these phobias in the past. So those all just went away. And I'm like wondering, obviously you have the note, obviously you're ill.
This has nothing to do with that. This is a physical medical condition. Please don't challenge it, okay?
No, I'm not challenging like that.
Please don't question me.
I was thinking, I don't know. I mean, how do I know that this doctor's not your friend or something?
Well, read the letter.
I mean,
read the letter.
That's good.
You're a new patient. I read that part.
So if I'm a new patient, you couldn't be my friend.
That's not true.
You're a liar. No way. It's a fake doctor's note. A fake this, a fake that. I mean, it's asthma. Asthma, 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 asthma. I can't breathe, ladies. Accept it. I find that really, 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 to be honest with you,
I knew
really
you would.
disgusting.
I knew
that
you
you
would.
would think that I would get a friend to write a doctor's letter and make up some
Honestly,
conditions not go on a
Aviva,
trip.
I just get
If I
the
didn't want to
impression
go
that you
on
really
the trip,
don't wanna go.
I would say, you know what, honestly, excuse me, that's really rude.
I'm so tired of being called a liar.
Because
you have a past history of having these sorts of issues.
I have no history of lying. I've never lied to anybody. And if I didn't show you this letter, you wouldn't believe me.
But the crazy thing is I almost still don't believe you, and I don't know why.
Do you believe this? This woman is sitting here saying that I'm making this up. I can't breathe.
I just made up for that. I don't want to get into
Do
any
you
more
believe
fights.
this? That's a
You know
hell of an
what?
accusation, man.
Aviva, I still think it's crazy that, like, you're totally fine and your health is perfect, and I invite you to Montana, and you can't go because you've got asthma.
Well,
all
it's
of
just
a sudden.
probably just a weird coincidence.
Okay, well, let's see.
Maybe it is a weird
These must be
coincidence.
made up prescriptions, right?
Don't throw
Let's
stuff at
see.
me. Don't
Okay,
throw
it's
stuff
a
at me.
really
Don't
f***ed up thing.
Don't
Okay,
throw
these
stuff-
must
don't throw
be.
you two
These
both.
must
Don't
be
throw
made up.
anything at me.
These must
I
be
have a
made
past
up.
with shit being
These
thrown
must
at
be
me.
made up prescriptions, right? Right. Let's see. Aviva Drescher used to. Let's see. If I didn't have asthma, right?
All right,
And-
give me your upset.
Okay. If I didn't have, no, I'm not upset. But if I didn't have asthma, I couldn't use asthma medicine, right?
That's not how that works.
Aviva literally opened up her bag of crazy. And then she threw it at Kristen. Even I am shocked.
Show a little compassion, lady. It's very rude. I have to tell you, what it feels like to breathe through a straw 24 hours a day in New York City in the summer is not fun. And all you can say is, gee, could you possibly say, gee, I'm sorry you can't come on the trip possibly? Or is all you can say is, I don't believe you?
Have some compassion, lady.
Have some compassion,
lady.
Oh my god, Ramona has incredible faces.
Oh yeah.
I love every time it cuts to her. I love seeing her
I
reaction.
love hearing you love Ramona because whew, do we have some stories to tell about Ramona?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, good golly.
Also, I feel like I like Kristen too. I like that she's kind of calling her on her bullshit.
Yeah.
And it is funny too because, like, again, I don't necessarily even think that Aviva doesn't have asthma or anything. I do think that the idea of a doctor saying I
Right,
can't
she's
go
just
somewhere.
blowing it out of proportion.
Exactly.
I also believe this is the second cash trip of the season that she is backed out of.
See, that's, and it does seem like there's
Something
previous
underlying,
instances of her exaggerating something, and so Kristen is kind of like, look, you do this a lot, like,
Right.
what's the deal? I do like that Aviva's like, well, I have a doctor's note, I'm a new patient, so I can't have been a friend. It's like, well, it could be your friend, it could be the first time you're seeing them as a
Could be a friend and
patient.
you're like, hey, I need help getting out of this trip. Can you be my doctor and write me a
Correct.
note?
And it could genuinely be like, oh my god, I'm having these issues. I have a friend who's a pulmonologist.
Yeah,
And we go to,
totally.
like it
Right.
could genuinely be
You want
that.
to tell me a Jew in New York doesn't have a friend that's a doctor? You come on now.
Throwing the inhalers is so funny too. Also, like, if I didn't have asthma, I couldn't use this.
You could easily could. Breathing through a straw in New York in the summer.
Listen, I'll give her that one.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Not-
Not easy.
But this even further, I feel like this further proves my point. So she does now have these medications.
Oh, yeah.
So they're...
Okay.
Right.
You know?
That's a lot of pill bottles. Okay.
So
That's
to
too
me, I will
many.
say to me, it looked like 2 inhalers and a pill bottle.
Okay.
Which I think would make sense because a lot of people have a daily inhaler, an as needed inhaler, and then like a steroid of some kind.
Right.
So that's what I thought it was just glancing at it.
Right.
Also, the fact that this all goes on in this hat store?
Yes.
Where are they?
They're in a hat store.
Right.
A cowboy boot store.
Gotcha.
This is a frequent occurrence, though. Like, they'll go shopping and then, like, chaos ensues. Next, we have an awkward, performative conversation that's heavily acted by Aviva with her husband, Reed.
I wanted to see if I could see what brand of medication it is. I'm just so nosy.
Oh my god.
Whenever someone has medications, I'm like, what is it? What
I
brand
know.
are you taking?
Every time, whenever I've gotten prescribed something, I'm like, Kelson, I just got prescribed these 3 things.
And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, thank God for telling me, because there's one time,
because I want to share that, but no one else gives a shit. Yeah.
There's one time Ben texted us and was like, oh, I just got prescribed some meds, and I was like, oh, what kind? Why would you just say some meds?
Yeah, come on now. Know your audience.
Yeah.
So in this conversation with her husband, Reed, she mentions that, like, she tends to downplay her illnesses, like when she had Legionnaire's disease and didn't, like, think anything was wrong until she was hospitalized. Essentially, I mean, it's so obvious that this was a planned sit-down conversation that the two of them had on camera so that, like, it could be realistic when Aviva was like, my husband says I can't go.
Yeah.
Reed forbids her from going.
Mm-hmm. So,
bottom line. Bravo's so over it, by the way. Aviva has refused to go on, I believe this is now the 2nd cast trip. And Bravo retaliates by editing her out of the intro for all the episodes she's missing from.
Well,
good. She's not in the episode. Why should she be there?
Absolutely.
No, I support that.
Which was the first time I'd ever seen anything.
Does she get an IMDb credit for those or no?
I'm sure. Actually,
probably not.
I don't know. She might not. Allegedly, I saw this on Reddit, so very allegedly. Her husband, Reed, told producers that he would get Aviva to Montana if she was promised another season. Spoiler alert. She was not asked back.
Whoa.
That's how much
she's not doing, like, the 2 things that Bravo wants.
Minimum. Yeah. Absolute bare minimum. And then she's pissing everybody off. All right. So they go on this trip to Montana. Things happen. Doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the fishtail braid that we have going on for this
Heather.
woman, Heather,
Yeah.
that feels like Dude Ranch hair. I think she's kind of...
That's Pioneer Woman.
It is. The Pioneer ancestors.
I understand. We're crossing back over to Salt Lake.
Yeah,
I understand.
as we do.
Utah.
Yeah.
So now we're back. This is the finale episode of the season. Okay. The women are at a party for Sonia, who is one of my all-time favorite housewives. I've mentioned her. The reason she does not top the all-time is because she is not aged well.
That's tough.
But I freaking love Sonia with a sexy J. It's Sonja.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway. So now they're at a party that Sonia is throwing for herself. And they decide to call Aviva out for all of her excuses, her lies, her asthma saga.
Do you mean asthma saga?
Asthma saga.
You literally said that and I had no idea what you're trying to say. I heard OS.
Yeah, it's like
Osmosis. What's it? Osmosis Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So they're calling her out for her
Asthma
saga. And it all leads to a very infamous moment. Now, I would like to thank Olivia, Ben's friend Olivia, because Olivia did ask Ben to do this episode.
Oh, shout out Olivia, friend of the pod.
So this is
this is the leg.
This is the leg. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, are you ready?
I'm so
This
ready.
is a longer clip. Bear with me here. It's totally worth it. It's so entertaining. Okay.
Aviva is a bit toxic.
And I think all of us at the table think that there are much bigger issues that you're not facing.
There's got to be deeper issues than just asthma.
What issues? I just think that there's a laundry list, and I think that you need to be honest with yourself about some of the things that I think you try to cover up and crutch with other things.
What are you talking about, Heather? There's not asthma going on here. This is more than asthma. And do you know what? I've done nothing but trying to be your friend this whole time.
No, you've actually been a horrific person to me, just so you know. Horrific.
Okay, so you're done.
Just so you know.
Okay.
You have not been a friend to me.
Okay, perfect. So now
You're the most horrible person to everybody here. I think the bottom line is there are trust issues. I think people feel like you're not a truthful person and you didn't want to go on the trip because you claim you have asthma and no one really believes you has asthma.
I understand your position because, in fact, I've been lied to. My doctor lied to me. My doctor told me I have asthma so severely that I couldn't go to Montana.
He lied? Hey, wait.
You won't believe it. You won't believe it.
Let me speak.
She's giving that 5 minutes.
She's making fun of
I know. This is not my chest. Give me a break. I mean, look at this. And it even has my name on it. Can you believe my doctor forged this x-ray?
No, I don't believe it.
The doctors lied to me so much that they made me take medicine.
Those are lungs for a boob job.
Carole is saying that I wasn't being truthful about my asthma. I'll tell you what, do me a favor, okay? Call the doctor, find out what it is. No one believes me. Call the doctor, ask him yourself. I mean, give me a break. I mean, this is just ridiculous. The only reason, Carole, that people who are close to you are trying to peg me as a liar is because it's the only way around the fact that I heard things about your writing. Oh, shut the only way to disqualify me. It's the only way to disqualify me.
I don't have to defend my career to you or anyone else.
That's the only reason I gotta go.
I mean, it's so weird. No, it's too weird.
I think that's the X-ray of her boob job. I don't think those are lungs.
Not appropriate.
I really believe the deeper issue is you didn't want to leave your husband for 5 days, which I understand. And we can appreciate what you just said.
Ramona,
She
listen to
loves
me.
her husband.
I love my husband. Listen, I love my husband.
And it's okay if you didn't want to leave him. We'd accept that, right? We'd accept that.
Ramona, I had no trouble leaving my husband for a trip. I've done it half a dozen
She's been
times
doing it.
in the past 8 months. And we both have to sometimes travel without each other. This trip was purely about an illness, a new illness, asthma. I have all the records. It started in July 15th.
That was pretty funny. You had me for a minute there.
Come back, Luann, come on. Come back, come back.
She doesn't want to come back right now.
I'm really horrified by that. I'm so horrified. I don't even want to go and sit back down.
How do you lose 10 pounds unless you have an intestinal
Because
virus?
I'm trying to eat well, to get rid of the reflux, to get rid of the asthma, because the cause of the asthma is not mold, it's not anxiety, it's not food allergies, it's reflux. And in order to get rid of reflux, you have to eat a special...
Okay,
no, it's not. It's too much
talking
acid.
about this. Okay, I want to remind everybody that it's actually Sonia's party tonight.
For you.
For many reasons. It is Sonia's party tonight.
Love inside. Love inside. Supporting each other.
Okay. So let's just sit down and let's try to have a calm conversation. I find it very, very, very hurtful that you don't believe that I have asthma.
Who cares?
Okay, well, you know what? Take this home.
Who
Take them home. Okay, take them home. Take them home. Take them home.
Your antagonist is bullshit. You say that you're really hurt by us. Okay, Carole. You say that you have never lied to any of us at the table, and you find us really hurtful. I find that laughable.
Well, let me tell you something, Heather. The only thing,
Keep it together, Aviva.
the only thing that is artificial or fake about me.
Yes!
The leg!
Oh my god.
She has 2 legs the last time we checked.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
Still got one?
my god.
Wow.
Yeah. Thoughts?
What that should have been her tagline. The only thing artificial about me is this.
Yep. She says her tagline this season was like, people think I'm pulling, or you might think I'm pulling your leg or something.
Oh, okay.
Not as fun. Not great, yeah.
I think Aviva needs to be committed.
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah.
And so I want to go back to the asthma thing.
Yeah.
So asthma can like go into like essentially like a remission. It doesn't like go away really.
Right.
But the way she's talking about it being caused by reflux and the only way to treat reflux is to change your diet, that there's pills for that. There's like over-the-counter pills to help with acid reflux.
Is that even a valid way to get asthma?
I don't believe so, but I'm not positive, and I don't actually have any kind of medical degree. I'm just a certified pharmacy tech. But I've never heard of that being correlated.
My dad's
at
a
all.
doctor, which counts as a medical degree, and I haven't heard that either. Yeah.
I'm just trying to unpack all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Maybe too much to unpack there.
Yeah, quite a bit to unpack there.
Aviva just like was so over the like she's very clearly lying because she was so over the top.
Well, and her doctor's lying to her.
Right, of course.
They made her take medicine.
Yes.
At first I thought it was really funny when she was like, well, my doctor lied to me too, like just kind of like playing up a bit, but then like pulling out the extra, like she was prepared for that.
She did.
She was at home and she was packing her bag and she was like, I gotta bring my x-ray with me. I gotta make sure.
Well, it's funny you say that because everybody thinks that the line, the only thing fake or artificial about me is this. It was completely planned. Are you kidding me? Totally planned. She said that last night. She's like, I got it.
Right. No, absolutely. And like, I love that because I feel like often with the editing, they'll cut to like the other people, the bystanders of the restaurant, and a lot of people like look interested but kind of trying not to.
This is absurd.
Yeah.
Everyone else in their shit, they are looking, they're cracking up.
Like you saw the way and the countess.
Oh my god.
Completely. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
She does need to be committed.
She really does. I think it just stands alone on itself. I also don't think she knew she was on her way out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta go out with a bang.
Yeah, she's on her last leg. And
she threw it across
the room. Isn't that unbelievable?
Crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's just so great. How do we even move on from that? It's unbelievable.
Like, guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. So I was gonna say, who's to blame here? Aviva planned the leg throw, obviously.
Yeah.
Carole also did come off a little bit condescending.
It's minimal in comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a punishment. I think for her own good, Aviva needs to be in a padded cell.
Oh my god.
So she has no.
She needs a straitjacket because otherwise she's just gonna keep throwing that leg at people.
Absolutely. So she has no.
That's a punishment / but
guilty by
like for her own
insanity.
good.
Yeah.
Carole, I don't know. I mean, like tiny slap on the wrist, maybe. Like
yeah. But even that, it's like so. Aviva's the first one who kind of brought up a ghostwriter. Wasn't she?
No,
Carole did.
Carole did bring it up first.
Talking to her.
But also, that's not
a weird.
That's not an insane thing to ask.
No, as a writer,
Carole needs to write a third book and record herself writing it the entire time to show that there was no ghostwriter
I was going to say she has to
involved.
write a third book and it has to be ghostwritten.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Although to be fair, her second book kind of flopped. So
maybe she does need a ghostwriter. Yeah.
Both of the punishments this time are kind of like for their own good.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily so cut and dry.
Aviva's crazy.
Aviva is insane. Yes.
Oh yeah.
She only lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah, I can see why.
Tornado. Like she just I feel like she just
spiraled.
And
it seems like they're like even Ramona, who I feel like was kind of supposed to be the one on her side, she was like kind of a dick to her and everything too. If you're gonna, because obviously she makes great TV.
Yeah.
But if everyone she's having this animosity with, then it's like you know, you're clearly just like not a good fit.
Right.
And part of the reason why RHONY is so spectacular is because at the core the women are actually friends.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 7 through 11 are. Well, okay, I know I said this about BPR. Some of the greatest reality TV ever made because it's essentially like a real life reality version of Sex and the City.
Sure.
Because they're all single.
Well, because Carrie Bradshaw's here.
And Carrie Bradshaw, right. So it does, like, they are actually friends. And that's what makes a Real Housewives show so good, is when they're actually friends. And
that's what makes a podcast good, too. I've
True.
heard.
I've heard.
Also
but
true.
we're not actually friends. We just
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, like, because they're actually hanging out outside of the show.
Right.
And that's huge. That's what makes it really good. So the fact that Aviva didn't even want to hang out with them while on the show
Yeah.
certainly doesn't help her case.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, that
That's
was a bombshell.
That was a
you
bombshell.
were correct.
Bombshell.
Yeah. Someone lost their leg in a bombshell. No,
That's
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just still processing.
shock?
I felt like that
Shell-shocked.
whole
We're
clip
shell-shocked.
had
We
to be
are
played.
so shell shocked right now. Ben's so right about that.
Oh, that's cute.
Aw, adorable. We
Yeah,
love Brandon.
Yeah, I just felt like that whole scene had to be watched just to really understand
Oh,
the
totally.
absurdity
It
of
was
it.
the context was needed.
Yeah, yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, that's Aviva Drescher.
Wow,
Sad. Yeah, I mean, I do actually really feel for Aviva.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I would be the exact same. She just started spiraling, and the more people stopped liking her, the worse she got.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I can't blame that,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're right. It's guilty by reason of insanity. Like,
Yeah.
she needs to be...
Yeah.
She needs help.
She needs some meds that are not just for asthma.
Yes.
I say as someone who's on a lot of meds for not asthma, by the way.
Yeah. And as someone who's on a lot of meds for asthma and other things, I can agree. Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh my god.
Well, that's your introduction to RHONY.
Wow.
I'm excited. Between this and last week's with Salt Lake City, you're starting to get me. You're starting to ring me in. I'm gonna be honest.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oopsie,
Music
made a
to my
whoopsie.
ears. That's the goal. We can stop now, to be honest. It's been a real fun 5 episodes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Bob's
Thank
way.
you, everyone.
Play the outro music.
Yeah, right.
We're done.
Great. Reality Bombshell.
Find us everywhere at Reality Bombshell. Make sure you set our episodes to an automatic download, easy one-time click, and then you'll really be helping us out with our whole little thing we've got going right now. Thank you to Tim Schools for doing our logo and Isaac Toub for doing our theme song. I've been Kelson.
Ariel.
Bombs away.
Reality Bombshell.